Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of World of Tanks with Scout. Got something a little bit new and different for you today. This is a game that I played recently in one of my new toys, the T26E4 Super Pershing. You can see it right there. One of the new tanks that I've bought recently and been playing around with. Haven't played too many games in it. Didn't really think I was gonna like it, but gotta tell you, I've been having some fun in this machine, and this is probably one of the better games that I have had in it so far, so I wanted to share it with y'all. You can see we're here on Redshire, and we've been tiered kind of interestingly. The top tier tanks on both sides are Super Pershings, and then we've got a T28, and the opposing team has a Type 59, and then from there it's down to tier 7s, heavy tanks, tank destroyers, and what have you. So kind of interesting matchmaking. Now what I'm doing is I'm going out to the east side of the map. I like to fight out here in this rolling terrain. It can be problematic in a slow tank like the Super Pershing because artillery will normally focus over here as well. But to be honest with you, the FV304 doesn't do a lot of damage per hit. It does of course have a very quick rate of fire, so that can stack up. So I wasn't as worried about artillery as I normally am. So I wanted to come out here and basically I'm going to play the Super Pershing like a heavy tank. With this kind of matchmaking, as long as you keep front towards the enemy and angle just a little bit, there's not a lot on this particular battlefield that can penetrate me very easily. You see me coming up over the hill to take a shot at that Cromwell before the SU-152 just obliterates him. Unfortunately, the Cheeto is up here on the hill returning the favor to the SU-152, so I'm trying to cover him as he backs up to reload. Get 2 hits into the Cheeto, and that's enough to convince him to pull back. And now we're trying to line up a shot on the IS-2, and what I tell you, every game, doesn't matter, I'm always artillery's favorite target. FV304 blows our tracks off, but as you can see, it doesn't do much damage, so it's a nuisance, but not that big a deal. Get the tracks back up, and now I don't really like being the farthest forward tank all by myself when I don't have platoon mates, because I know how that typically ends, so that's why I'm backing off here. Going to take a little cover behind the SU-152, unfortunately, despite my best efforts, was killed. That'll protect me from the IS-2 if he goes up high. And then look at this. There's the opposing Super Pershing. What I'm doing right now is I'm aiming at the volleyballs you see at the top of this turret. A lot of people call them the volleyballs. I believe that's actually counterweight because of all the extra weight added to the gun mantle by the extra armor. They had to put a counterweight on to help move the turret about. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And that's where I'm aiming. It's one of several weak points on the Super Pershing. And I was going to move back and forth and do a little shimmying and some berm drills, but you notice this guy has sent every one of his shots into my hull. And there's almost no chance he's going to penetrate. So that's why I just parked here and said, okay, buddy, you want to trade shots? I'll trade with you, because you notice I'm not using premium ammo, but every one of mine are going in because I'm aiming at his weak points. He finally tries to back out when he realizes that he's getting the worst of that exchange by far, but unfortunately it's too late and the T25 AT takes him out. Excuse me. Now we're going to move up here and try to engage this IS-2, put a good shot there into his lower glacis. Back off while we reload. I was kind of concerned that T25-2 was going to cut me off, and then I get eyes on the FV304. Now I was hoping I could kill him in one shot. Unfortunately, just a little bit short. 251 points of damage, which is admittedly an above average roll for this gun. It's very unlikely I was going to kill him in one shot, but I wanted to try it. Put a second shot, blind shot out where I thought he was backing up to, trying to get the kill. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. Keep that in mind later because that's going to become important. I see the FV304 at this point, but I determined that the IS-2 was a bigger threat. I wanted to try to kill him before he reloaded. Unfortunately, I bounced the first shot off his turret mantle, his gun mantle. Got the second one into his cupola, but unfortunately that cost me the kill shot on the FV304s, the T25AT takes that shot and kills him. And again, something to remember for later, maybe a little bit of a misplay there, allowing that shot to go into the gun mantle of the IS-2. Took a hit there, not sure what it was from. So wait a few seconds, don't think anybody else over here is spotting me, then come down off the hill. And oh, that's not good. That means there's got to be somebody on this hill right over here to my left. Hoping I can make the run, and ouch. Take a hit there from an SU-152. Probably the hit we took earlier was also from that SU-152. You see me there returning fire into the bushes where I think that he's hiding. Well, I'm waiting on my tracks to come up, and as soon as the tracks get up, I'm moving out. I don't want to stay out here with that SU-152 putting shots into my flank. Coming up around the hill here, the T25AT spots this ARL. I'm moving up. I'm still worried about that SU-152 that's somewhere off to my left, but I don't want to just blunder out here in front of this ARL. It's not so much the ARL that concerns me as I don't know what else might be up there with them, which is why I'm kind of taking my time, going slow. Also cognizant of the fact that if people are in the right place I should say, on the hill, you can see the E25 and the Tiger at Delta 4. If you're not careful coming around this corner, you'll get fire in the flanks. And that's why you see me carefully making my way around here, trying to get an idea of where people are at before I make this run on this ARL 44. Excuse me, got a little bit of a cold there. So, doesn't look like anybody's looking at me, hoping that nobody spot me. Sixth sense isn't going off, so I'm going to go ahead and make this run. Try to close the distance on this ARL and kill him. Unfortunately, the first shot bounces. Wasn't very well aimed, went right into his turret. And you saw me take a shot in the back there. Believe it or not, that was from our T20. And you see it's still bouncing shots off this ARL, moving my turret left and right to make sure that he can't aim straight at the hockey or the volleyballs. You saw him aiming at it there at the last second, the last shot he fired, and then finally I zoom all the way in to put one into his hull. Something that I'm not used to dealing with is low penetration guns like this 90 millimeter gun on the Super Pershing. Normally when I out tier somebody by 2 tiers, I'm used to just being able to auto aim, focus on what's around me, and kind of plan my next move while I'm just kind of auto aiming a guy that's 2 tiers below you. Can't really do that in this tank. This 90 millimeters gun only has I want to say 170 millimeters of penetration with standard ammo. Yeah, average of 170 millimeters of penetration, and that's at 100 meters, let alone further out. So you have to be a little bit more careful with where you aim your shots if you're going to be effective with this tank. Something to keep in mind. You saw me there put a shot into the SU-152. Had eyes on him for a minute, but he displaced. Looks like, yeah, he got the T20. So that leaves me out here kind of by myself. And if you haven't noticed yet, yeah, they're capping the flag. And it doesn't look like anybody else is in a position to do anything about it. So I start making my way to the flag, even though I don't really want to make this run across the open. Very concerned right now with where that SU-152 is off to my left, because I can ill afford to take another flank shot from him. Speaking of the devil, there he is. Fortunately for me, he's on the other side of that house and too low, and he's not able to put a shot into my flank, which gives me just enough time to get up to the hill. You see the AMX AC-46 there. Good job to him. He died for it, but he was able to kill one of the tanks on the cap and reset that count, which is going to be very, very important, because as you can see, there are still 2 guys on the flag and we are running out of time. And the Super Pershing, if you haven't picked up on it already, is not a very fast tank at all. Now we're finally getting into position, getting eyes on this Tiger. Hopefully we can move up here and destroy him. And then a shot comes in from the T25AT. Believe it or not upset about that, because again, resets the timer on the cap. Not convinced the Super Pershing would have got here in time. I've loaded premium ammo because I wanted to make sure I got the reset on the first shot. Fortunately we did. Second shot goes into the flank of this VK3601H. And here again, I'm just being silly using auto aim and zoomed out so that I can see around. Even with premium ammo, I get a bounce. Just goes to show you can't ever assume that your shots are going to penetrate in this tank like you might be able to in some others. Even in your 2 tiers above your opponents, it's got much less penetration than you might be used to. So it's one of the things I took away from this game is you might, if you're a fan of using auto aim like I am so that you can zoom out when you're shooting at lower tier targets and look for other targets, you might not want to do that as much in this particular vehicle just because of the penetration of the tank. Now here again, you see how slow the Super Pershing is, 6 kilometers an hour up this hill, trying to get up here, hoping I can get a shot at the SU-152 to try to help the T-25 out. Unfortunately, didn't make it in time. Even if I had, they were behind the house. No way I could have saved that T-25, which is unfortunate because I really did want to. So we're going to use this hill and try to close the distance on the SU-152, pick up some speed, because I'm very cognizant of the fact that the other enemy remaining vehicle is an E-25, and he's very fast. And so what I'd like to do is get over here and kill this SU-152 before the E-25, wherever he's at, gets to me, and they have the opportunity to outmaneuver me. Interestingly, the SU-152 is not that big of a threat head-on to a Super Pershing. If he's firing standard AP ammo at me, there's almost no way he's going to penetrate my frontal armor. If he's firing HE at me, the whole front of the Super Pershing is spaced armor, which mitigates high explosive rounds. So this is actually a worst case scenario for the SU-152, and I'm a little bit more concerned about the E-25. Especially when he moves to flank me like that, and you see me there traverse over, try to get a shot into his side, into his tracks to stop him. Unfortunately, it didn't work. And as you can see, several of the SU-152 shots have bounced. Once he backs back up, and I'm convinced he's not going to get a chance to put one in the side of my turret, I spin over, take out the E-25, eliminate the threat on my flank, and now it's just me and this SU-152. And I'm pretty sure the only hope he has is to load premium rounds, but I don't know if he's got them or not, and that's why I'm still being careful. It never pays to be overconfident, especially in a game this close. Creeping up now, trying to beat his reload, but again, the Super Pershing is just so slow going up a hill. Auto aiming to fire because I knew it was going to come down to that shot. Incredibly, I get a bounce because I didn't load premium round. Fortunately, he missed even if he had loaded a premium round, and that's the end of that SU-152. At that point, he had no place to go. But credit to him, he did play a pretty tough game, and I was sweating bullets there at the end. Worth noting, if you look at the score, 5 kills. I really think had I played that a little better with the FV304 or not bounced that shot, being careless into the gun mantle of the IS-2, this could have also been a top gun game. But as it was still a pretty good game. Let's take a look at the results screen and see just how this turned out. So there you have the results of our battle on Redshire. You see that we got a mastery badge, a sharpshooter ribbon, steel wall, defender medal, and the high caliber medal. Pulled in 132,339 credit and 10,815 experience points. Worth noting that this was during this past weekend, so it was not only a double for the day, it was a ×5 for the first victory that day, plus we had a premium count, so managed to rake in major experience points and credits on this battle. If we take a look at the team score, the first thing that jumps right out at you is the damage. We managed to do 4,585 points of damage in the Super Pershing, even with that mediocre 90mm gun, which by the way is not historically accurate. The Super Pershing actually had a very vicious 90mm gun, but still got 5 kills. Note that the second place player on the team was at T25AT with 2,233 points of damage, and nobody else on the team even broke 1,000 points of damage. Talk about my back hurting from carrying some folks. Really fortunate, and can't tell you how glad I am that T25 was there, because I think that game would have gone much differently if he was not, so credit to him. Base experience, 1,442 points before all the multipliers, which in my book, anything 1,400 and above is a really good game. So pretty proud of that. And again, credit to the SU-152. Like I said earlier, he played a really good game as well. So did that E-25. They just didn't have enough left apparently at the end. And you know, the E-25 tried. He made that break to flank is what he needed to do. If he'd have done it in cover, I think that would have gone much differently if he'd have gone to his left instead of to his right, where I was able to get a couple more free shots at him. Fortunately, he didn't though, and we were able to walk away with a win. If we take a look at the detailed report, you can see I fired 30 shots, 26 of which hit. Of the 26 hits, we got 22 penetrations, which is pretty good for this gun, but granted, we were firing mostly at tier 7 and even some tier 6 opponents, which gives us our total of 4,585 points of damage. Took 19 hits, only 10 of which penetrated, 9 bounced, and remember a lot of those penetrations were just track hits there at the end from the E25, didn't actually do any damage. Also got splashed once, total potential damage received 6,685 points of damage. Got credit for 74 base defense points, there's our defender's medal, and actually traveled 2.62 kilometers. I'm pretty sure that's in kilometers, and that's slow Super Pershing. So of our 132,339 credits that we made after repairs and rearms, still able to bring home 99,067 credits. So all in all, an extremely productive game in the T26E4 Super Pershing. A lot of fun. I was sweating bullets at the end of this game, and I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you'd like to see a review of the Super Pershing in a later video, just let me know in the comments down below. I'd be happy to break it down for you in Tank Inspector and go into a little more detail of how to get the most out of this tank. But yeah, right now, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the Super Pershing, even though I didn't think that I would when I first started. So that's it, folks. Short video for today. Just a quick game. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun watching, and we'll see you next time.